Warning: this video contains images of hunting and animal mounting. If these images offend you, turn back now. The toy hunt is on us. Yep, I'm back to toy hunting, and doing this during, this masked up time has kind of given me some time to reflect on the process of toy hunting. I'm Scott ToyGuru Neitlich. I have been in the toy industry professionally for over 20 years, and I've got my awesome custom trap jaw mask that my friend Lizzie made me. Thank you, Lizzie Applebaum. It's awesome. Protecting people and making me look cool all at the same time. So, toy hunting. Let's talk about that. Why do we do it, and why is it such an important part of the action figure collecting hobby? Well, I think, not just think, but on reflection, it goes back to hunting in general and why human beings hunted. I mean, originally it was because that was how they had to eat. By hunting animals, they could feed their families and their communities, and only by going out and stalking their animals and finding them through, primitive means, were they able to successfully procreate and continue life. Today, it's basically now just, bringing home the bacon. Going to work and bringing home that paycheck has, in many ways, taken the place of what used to be hunting, because now you can go to the grocery store and just buy your meat. You don't have to go, hunt mammoths. So with toy hunting, it's a little bit more about a celebration. You're not necessarily dependent on finding these toys to survive, but we're still hunting for them. In fact, we call it the toy hunt. And whether you think of hunting as, kind of ancient hunting with bows and arrows, or you're thinking of hunting much more in, I guess, say, a modern sense with, camouflage gear and rifles and your favorite hunting dog, well, modern hunting, which is much more about finding trophies and game and being able to show them off, is much more similar to what action figure hunting is. Because we're not doing it to survive, we're doing it for fun. And this is not a video, promoting hunting animals. I'm just using them as a metaphor. Since most hunters, who nowadays you can, buy meat at your local, Stop and Shop or Food Lion, they're going to mount their hunting prize, if you will, in their living room like this. And, well, at the end of the day, that's kind of what action figure collectors do too. In fact, I recently mounted the head of an action figure I acquired at retail because, well, it just kind of called for it. But we're more likely to display our trophies like this, whether at work or at home. Our action figures are our hunting trophies. We've acquired them out in the wilderness, and even though you can now, go online, you can go on Amazon right now and order Pirate Deadpool, pre-order him. If you are a good hunter, you might be able to find him out in the wilds at a Target or a Walmart, et cetera, et cetera. Don't have to wait. Now, you could drive around all over town doing this, and, you're going to take up not only a lot of time having to drive all over town looking for a figure you might be able to just pre-order, but you're going to have to, figure out, your route and how can you maximize the number of toy stores that you hit along your way, hitting Walmarts and Targets and Walgreens and, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of us probably have a mapped out route to hit Target after Target after Target after Target. But the thing is, you can't just keep going to the same Target over and over and over again, the same one. That's not going to bring success. You're going to have to hit other stores. You have to hit a Walgreens or an alternate Target or a Walmart. Or, maybe you'll even have to hit some kind of alternate store, like a used bookstore that carries action figures, etc., etc. The point is toy hunting is strategic, and we put a lot of thought into getting that final victory of finding that figure, whether somebody hid it behind figures or we found it on the shelf. It's going to release dopamine. And that's why we do it. I mean, that's the emotional payoff. That's the biological payoff, is because the brain releases dopamine when we win, when we achieve something. And that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of, yes, I did it, it really drives why we do this. I've mentioned in other videos how, toy collectors probably don't have a lot of sports trophies at home. Maybe you do. I don't. I think I have like one karate medal. We could easily just order items and have them dropped off on our doorstep. And yeah, there is that dopamine hit of like, whoa, I got an awesome brown package from Amazon or Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, Dorkside Toys, or, etc. And you're not paying the outrageous costs of gasoline while driving around. And of course, there's the argument that it's not just the cost of gasoline driving all over town, hitting, all of those different toy aisles, but there's, wear and tear on your car, and there's time and energy and missed appointments or, speeding tickets, who knows. Whatever the costs are, you have to consider that this is our hobby. And I think a lot of people who aren't part of this may not really understand that. Whatever your hobby is, there's a cost to it. You're going to buy equipment. You're going to buy supplies. There's a lot of hobbies that are way more expensive. And toy hunting, toy collecting is our hobby, and the hunt is part of that. This is the payoff, of course, for the hunt. It is being able to mount your figures on the wall, I mean, not literally, but using that hunting metaphor, and look at your prizes. No different than, hunters in years past who would mount animal skins, if you will, on their wall. Not trying to make a pro-hunting video or, animal rights video here. I'm just using it as a metaphor. So, again, whether you're mounting a moose head on your shelf or your wall, or you're mounting the entire team of, Avengers from 1970, the toy hunt is part of this. It's the lead up to the results, and it's just as much a part of the hobby as physically displaying the product at the end. Stalking our prey, if you will. People talk, trade online. When different stores are getting deliveries, or knowing when Target's going to reset their aisle. All of this is part of the hobby. The hunt is just as much part of toy collecting as the actual collecting, because honestly, I would say 80% of the time, you're probably not going to find what you're looking for, and you're going to wind up, a sad panda or a sad hunter. But that time you do get what you're looking for, when the hunt pays off, wow, that is amazing. And yes, dopamine release, but enjoyment. That's why we do it. That's the fun of collecting action figures, because not only do you have the full collection to display, but it's enjoyable going on the hunt. Mankind used to do this for womankind, humankind, to eat, because if they didn't hunt, they starved. And, if you couldn't find the mammoth or, the whatever you were hunting, you were not only sad, but you were not going to procreate and advance civilization. It was basically the end if you couldn't pull off a hunt. So let me talk about a quick online example that was designed to emulate the toy hunt. So for those of you who follow my Masters of the Universe Director's Commentary, I haven't gotten to this version of Hordak yet. This is the Spirit of Hordak figure that we released on Matty Collector. And this was a very unique figure because, one, we didn't announce it ahead of time, and two, he didn't have a set release date. He would show up randomly online. Now, we very strategically put him in the mini-comic ahead of time in order to sort of create demand for a figure we already knew was coming. But when he was sold on Matty Collector, unlike the subscription figures, you never knew when he was going to show up. And this was very deliberate. This was actually literally a request from my manager to find a way to recreate the joy of the toy hunt online now that you could just order your figures. So he literally asked me point blank, find a way to create that dopamine hit. Find a way to recreate the joy of finding a figure at retail through the online Matty Collector experience. And that's what the Hordak figure was. It was an answer to that request. And while some people liked it and some people didn't, it was kind of no different than being able to find something at retail or not find something at retail. And in the end of the day, it did succeed in what it was meant to be, which was an online hunt for a figure, which we did with some other figures in the line as well, like the Ghost of King Grayskull, etc. And you'll notice they were always kind of like, easy to produce figures. So at the end of the day, toy collecting is really two things. It's being able to display your collection, which is the ongoing everyday part, but it's also the thrill of the hunt. Going out to retail is such an important part of the hobby, and it often kind of gets overlooked by the long time thrill of having the figures on your shelf. But that, that time that you find that figure you've been looking for, that's an amazing feeling. And when you find it at retail and pull it off the peg, it's kind of, just like hunting in old times and being able to mount your trophy on your wall. I hope you enjoyed this video. If I missed any aspects of the toy hunt or you want to comment about it, let me know below and I will absolutely try to answer it. Give me a subscription and a like on the video and I'd appreciate it as I keep churning these out. See you guys in the toy aisles.